A very good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us on Nationwide on NTA. I am Phil Obano. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo received a delegation of the people of the Northeast, led by some governors, National Assembly members, and other stakeholders who paid him a thank-you visit over the release of 82 abducted Chibok girls. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
While congratulating the people of the Northeast, the acting president prayed for the safe return of the remaining girls yet to be released. He ascribed the support received from the international community to the integrity of the president.
Largely on account of the fact that the international community and our development partners and those who have helped in the whole process of negotiation believe in the integrity of the president. I agree with you entirely, because I know that they recognize his genuineness and recognize his forthrightness, and I think they felt the need to help, and they knew that they didn't have to look over their shoulders wondering whether there was anything else going on. I think that has helped a great deal, and we're thankful for that kind of leadership, or leadership that shows so much integrity.
He described what has taken place in the Northeast as a great disaster and a challenge to leaders.
We cannot wait for another generation of leaders. It is this generation, this tenure of leaders, who must do what it takes to resolve most of the issues that face us in the Northeast today.
And actively involved in the rehabilitation of the girls earlier rescued, and will actively be involved in this process as well.
The delegation, led by Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, thanked the federal government and Nigerians for the safe return of the girls. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And the national leadership of the Nigerian Union of Journalists has commended the perseverance of the federal government, which paid off with the release of the 82 Chibok girls. A statement by the National Secretary of the Union, Shaibu Usman Liman, says the NUJ is optimistic that the remaining girls will also be freed, using the same approach that led to the release of the 82. While commending President Buhari, the security chief, and foreign bodies, the NUJ leadership advised all Nigerians to give the federal government maximum support and cooperation to address other security challenges of the nation. The union also appealed to the leadership of the Boko Haram to continue to embrace dialogue rather than resorting to violent agitations. And now to reports from the National Assembly. The report of the Joint Committee on Appropriations Bill 2017 has been laid before the Senate. Presenting the report, Chairman Senate Committee on Appropriation Mohammed Danjuma Goje described the budget as the most critical instrument for economic reordering for even distribution of development across the country.
Do receive the report as well as the details of the 2017 appropriation bill as compiled by the Senate Appropriation Committee.
Senate President Bukola Saraki congratulated the Joint Committee for laying the report, which for the first time comes with full details.
Appropriation has laid the appropriation bill with details. Let me congratulate the members of appropriation for again opening a new chapter in the service of the Senate.
And the House of Representatives received the report of its Committee on Appropriation Bill. It also received an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari notifying members of his trip to the United Kingdom for a medical follow-up.
Compliance with Section 145, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, I wish to inform the Honorable House that I will be away for a scheduled medical follow-up with my doctors in London. The length of my stay will be determined by the doctor's advice While I'm away, the Vice President will coordinate the activities of the government. Please accept, Honorable Speaker and distinguished honorable members, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari.
Transforming the country's irrigation system for efficient all-year-round farming and self-sufficiency in food production is a goal that analysts on Good Morning Nigeria believe is fundamental to the diversification policy. Aisha Bali reports that dams development for irrigation purposes, which targets 500,000 hectares in 15 years, is on.
Of dams designed for irrigation and other purposes, only 130,000 hectares of irrigable land is cultivated. These experts on Good Morning Nigeria program say it has hampered food production and limits the country's desire to be self-sufficient. The guest who provides solution on improving the irrigation system, especially with the support Nigeria is getting from World Bank, noted that the new policy will take Nigeria to the promised land.
Training the farmers to take their proper roles, organize them into proper organizations that can take responsibility and look less at government or depend less on government for maintaining the system.
You need to make them work better. You need to encourage our people to partake in the use of those resources. This is my desire, this is my hope, this is what every farmer would require, this is what would make us smile to the banks.
The Minister of Water Resources was, however, quick to point out that private sector participation is key to achieving the objectives.
We are doing studies and design to open up new areas. The idea is when we do this study and design, at least we have more sufficient information that we can provide to the private sector to come and invest.
Proper coordination of key players such as farmers and state government, as well as commercialization of River Basin Development Authority, were some crucial points raised by the guest. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is to draft a policy that will allow private sector to play a pivotal role in the disbursement of heavy-duty agricultural equipment loan that will be provided by Brazilian government. The minister, Audu Ugbe, said this during an interactive session with agriculture commissioners and private-owned firms in Brazil. Musa Baba Aliu has the report.
We can actually, once you sign an agreement, you decide to do business with Brazil.
Though the authorities are yet to finish the arrangement for the disbursement of the loan facility to Nigeria, the Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, promised that the loan facility will be disbursed promptly when granted. This, he said, will be achieved through a policy that will allow private sector to take charge in the disbursement and monitoring of the movement of the equipment.
We will lend to cooperatives or give them machinery, which we are going to incorporate in this program. And the tractor goes and works for the farmer for a certain fee. We can then work out an arrangement where government subsidizes the rent to that farmer.
The proposed policy is expected to provide full utilization of all kinds of agricultural equipment value chain, from the manufacturers to the end users.
Nigeria will be granted to pick from any manufacturer in Brazil equipments that are relevant to the value chain development that we have identified. This we have done carefully in collaboration with private sector people.
And you know, we have so many trees in Imo State, so we need bulldozer, we need all those equipment to actually cultivate. And with this mechanized system that will be coming very soon, I'm hopeful that someday we're going to sign this agreement and Imo State will have their share of equipment.
We have about 100,000 people, so we are developing our data so that we will capture all the farmers in Plateau State to be able to key into the various value chains.
Nigeria has applied for the supply of assorted agricultural equipment worth over $200 million payable between 5 and 8 years. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, Musa Baba Aliu, NTA News.
And back home, NAFDAC activities undergo review for effective service delivery. As we join Jennifer in our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Jennifer. You are on.
Thank you, Phil. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Reactions have continued to trail the release of 82 Chibok schoolgirls adopted 3 years ago from Government Girls College in Chibok, Borno State, by the Boko Haram sect. Cross-section of Lagosians who spoke with Abolade Salami said the release of the girls is an indication of the federal government's drive to reunite the adopted girls with their families.
Since April 14, 2014, over 276 schoolgirls were abducted from their dormitory at Government College Girls School, Chibok, by the Boko Haram sect into hidings. Then government in power and other concerned bodies made several attempts at rescuing the girls, which was unsuccessful. The absence of these girls from their homes left a big hole in the hearts of their parents as they groan, cry and pray every day for the safe return of their children. Against this background, President Muhammad Buhari, on assumption in office, directed service chiefs to clamp down on the sect and find the abducted girls. The first breakthrough was the rescue of 21 girls after a series of negotiations before the recent release of the 82 girls in exchange for the 5 Boko Haram suspects.
It's part of our promise that we will not declare the Boko Haram issue closed until every single person, especially these girls, every person was abducted, is returned.
The release of the girls came to many by surprise, with a call on the government not to relent in its efforts towards the release of other girls.
It's a commendable one. It shows that, well, this administration is trying their best. This has shown that there's still hope that all of them can be freed.
Because it's long overdue, they also have been released. It's all this while, but it's better late than never. At least the government has tried a little.
Life is very precious. Anything that it will take to save life is fine by me.
With the release of 164 girls, 112 are still held captive by the sect, with the hope that very soon they will reunite with their families. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
After 3.5 years of providing mechanized equipment and funding to aid intensive training of farmers in the country, officials of Fadama III Additional Financing Project has embarked on a mid-term review of its activities in Lagos. The review attracted officials of the World Bank, national and state coordinators, as well as project implementation officers across the Lagos metropolis. Musa Toliat has the details.
The third National Fadama Development Project Additional Financing was mooted by the World Bank to scale up the impact of Fadama III in 6 core states of the Federation, including Lagos. The objective is to enhance the production of staple crops, and Lagos State was picked for rice production. 3 years down the line, it was time to appraise the performance of the state ahead of the commencement of the second half of the third Fadama Development Project. This informed the mid-term review, which is a special mission to achieve the overall objective of the program.
The World Bank is here to assess the level of progress, to assess the challenges faced by the implementers and beneficiaries.
60% of the entire rice that is produced in Nigeria is consumed in Lagos. So you are looking at a very huge market opportunity.
Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Minister of Agriculture, Olaiwole Onosanya, reiterated the commitment of the state government to enhance the productivity of farmers and encourage demand-driven agricultural research and extension services.
It will help us to do better. The area of marketing, the area of processing, as well as even productive infrastructure like irrigation.
By revelations from study, we have been able to increase the income of 89% of the direct beneficiaries.
We have seen a lot of progresses, development, capacity building.
The project development of third National Fadama Additional Financing seeks to achieve 40% increase in rice yield from participating households through small and medium-scale irrigation schemes by the end of 2017. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
From agriculture, we go to health. Now, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Binta Bello, has called for a greater synergy between health institutions and agencies of government to curb the proliferation of drugs in the country and promote quality health care to Nigerians. She said this while inspecting facilities at the Central Drug Control Laboratory of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, in Lagos.
The problem of fake drug proliferation has impacted negatively on the healthcare system in Nigeria, with a lot of harmful effects on the consumers, resulting to illnesses, disabilities, and sometimes death. This is why the federal government is encouraging unrelenting approaches, including the deployment of cutting-edge technologies in tackling this menace and bringing it under control. Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Health, Binta Bello, while commending NAFDAC for safeguarding the health of Nigerians, called on Nigerians to support federal government efforts at repositioning the nation's health sector.
Effective stakeholder collaboration with NAFDAC, such as donation of the right specification of equipment, is a step in the right direction.
Acting Director General, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Yetunde Oni, says the agency is determined to ensure that only the right quality food, drugs, and other regulated products are manufactured, exported, imported, sold, and consumed in Nigeria.
We're also committed to ensuring quality and timely releases of lab reports. Hence our quest for top-notch laboratories, adequate equipment, and well-trained staff to perform optimally at all times.
Over the years, NAFDAC has deployed a lot of technologies to combat the counterfeit medicines in the country.
And those are the top stories at this hour from Lagos. It's back to Phil in Abuja for more on Nationwide News.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. The need for Nigerians to reduce speed while plying the roads has been described as a major step to addressing the key risk factor for road traffic deaths and injuries. This forms the thrust of the 4th United Nations Global Road Safety Week, organized by the United Nations Decade of Action on Road Safety, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps. Joseph Johnson has this report.
The fact that people get into their cars to drive or use public transport means that they intend to arrive somewhere safe. But oftentimes, their journeys meet dead ends. That's talking about fatalities. And research has shown that one of the leading causes of road crashes is speeding, or what Nigerians regard as overspeeding.
According to World Health Organization, no fewer than 1.25 million people die as a result of road accidents every year. The staggering statistics perhaps informs the choice of this year's Road Safety Week theme, which is managing speed, as participating stakeholders call on Nigerians to save lives by reducing speed on the roads with the hashtag Slow Down.
Whether you are an official in uniform, whether you are a road user, even if you are a passenger, you have the right to tell your driver to keep speed to a reasonable level.
I believe this global call will encourage the National Assembly to pass a bill on speed limiting device.
The Federal Road Safety Corps will not rest on its oars, but continue to pursue its purpose and give the desired value to human lives.
The joint press briefing signals the beginning of a week-long activities holding in the Federal Capital Territory. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Fadama III starts early disbursement of funds for cultivation of rice. Time now to join Susan in our Makurdi studio as she brings the details of this report and more.
National President of the Christian Association of
We sincerely apologize. We seem to be having audio challenge from that center. Now you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Also, you can log on to www.nta.ng. We'll take a break now for some messages. Nationwide returns shortly. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
On the quest for boosting the economy is the ease of doing business in Nigeria, the presidential initiative. This is the focus on Tuesday Live edition of This Week. Tuesday Live, incisive, educative, and informative. Don't miss it.
People are supposed to help people, but people help people and end up wishing they never helped anybody in the first place.
So this is what you people do. Okay? You people spread stolen vehicles.
In a world of give and take, learn what it takes to give, and the world will be filled with people who value what has been given.
Now my ancestors, all of them, then go bless you.
Until then, there may just be no help. Professor John Bull, your rib-cracking comedy, takes a look at issues arising from charity and compassion this week.
You know from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And there's nothing I will not do for you. But it's not everything. Zuzukweba, with your cap like plate for soup. Damn.
Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
TV Guide magazine is out with fabulous Fab Funke Akindele Bello, aka Jennifer, adorning the cover. She opens a secret not known even to her family. Find out the secret. NTA turns 40 this year. The challenges, the emerging trends in broadcasting, and the way forward. Weekend Dealer 2. Meet the team behind the biggest deal on NTA. Is food still the way to a man's heart? If not, what else? This edition is hot and juicy. Meet your star faces on screen. Entertainment, fashion, young minds, social media, and great personality.
This is idiosyncratic and heterodox.
Yes, Professor John Bull is on the radar. Find out what makes this program the rave of the moment on NTA Network, and for the prof,
over and out.
TV Guide. Ask your vendors or book your copy at every NTA station nationwide. TV Guide. Still your indispensable companion.
Admission forms for the 2017-2018 academic session of NTA Television College JAWS into its diploma programs are now on sale. The diploma programs are in film and TV production, broadcast journalism, and TV engineering technology. Applicants are required to have at least 5 credits, including English language and mathematics at SSC, NECO, or GCO levels in not more than 1 sitting. Application forms can be obtained from the TV College Refi JAWS or at any NTA zonal centers nationwide on payment of a non-refundable fee of 7,500 naira in bank draft in favor of NTA Television College. Completed application forms should be returned to the Office of the Academic Secretary, NTA Television College, or the Center of Purchase on or before 28th of July 2017. For further inquiries, please call 0806 980 9807 0703 660 7155. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you can be.
Yes, so no be only government go stop Lassa fever. Now everybody go put hands together to stop Lassa fever. We don't the years much more to say Lassa fever don't use style resurface for some part of this country them. But the Federal Ministry of Health say make you no panic. Now so they clean our house all the time. We chase rats come out, and if rats don't mood for our house, Lassa fever don't come out be that. Lassa fever get two symptoms. One are early stages where they bring fever, sore throats, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain. The second stage in our bunge, now they cause bleeding from the nose, high spectrum. It go even they make blood to the commode from private parts, even cause swelling genital. Make we start to the shop rats. Anywhere we rat fit enter our house, make we block her. Don't forget say division of the universal health coverage. That to see say everybody they can pay. Our Oga President Muhammad Buhari want everybody make we stand gidigba. Yama no good for us, so it invite her. Sweat where they come up from person where get Lassa fever. Fit transfer the disease from one person to another. If you suspect any fever, we don't treat it with better medicine and you no go quick, or you suspect any person with Lassa fever, make you go any health facilities where they near you. Lassa fever must go. Now all of now go give them red card. Now Federal Ministry of Health bring on this message.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we'll rejoin a Makurdi Center now with Susan as she tells us about the Fadama III starting early disbursement of funds for cultivation of rice and other stories. Susan, you're on again.
It's good to have you join us again. The National President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Reverend Samson Shupo Ayokunle, has called for more proactive measures to end incidences of attacks being witnessed in some parts of the country. He stated this while donating relief materials to internally displaced persons in Benue State. Charles Abba reports.
Following the various crises witnessed in Benue State as a result of attacks by gunmen and various violent incidences involving herdsmen and farmers, many people were displaced from their villages and settlements in Benue State. The visit by the National President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Shupo Ayokunle, is to, among other things, sue for peace and assist the internally displaced persons. Addressing the affected people, some of whom were assembled at the NKST Church Yotie in Makurdi, the camp president, who expressed sympathy over their plight, urged government and other stakeholders not to relent in finding lasting solution to the recurring problem of attacks and killings.
The church can only do little. Let government rise up to its responsibility, build churches that are abundant, houses that are abundant, and provide medical care for people that have been terribly injured.
CAN Chairman, Benue State Chapter, Reverend Akpen Leva, who received the relief materials donated by the association to the IDPs, appreciated the national president for the kind gesture and assured him of equitable distribution. One of the IDPs, Esau, who lost his arm in such attacks, the vice president of CAN and the national treasurer were hopeful that the relevant authorities will employ more drastic measures to end the menace. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Residents of Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, have lauded the newly introduced automated teller machine water dispenser installed by the state government for the supply of water to low-income earners. The government says the machine, which is the first to be installed in Nigeria, is to control wastage and generate revenue. Joseph Saundu Utsen reports.
The automated teller machines water dispensers are part of the components of the ongoing water project being carried out by the African Development Bank in partnership with the Taraba state government. The state government primary water supply source, also under construction, will equally utilize the facilities, which will be strategically installed in 30 locations across the state capital and its environs.
This time there's no contact of hand, contact of the air, contact of the environment. The water comes out clean and clear for the poor man to fetch and drink.
With the massive water projects embarked upon by the state government, with huge investment, the government is working towards granting autonomy to the State Water Supply Agency to generate revenue for its maintenance and regularly supply clean and healthy water to the people at a very low rate.
50 number people who want to sponsor to go for more training on ICT and other administrative management in Kenya.
The General Manager of Taraba State Water Supply Agency, Musa Buba Siam, says the water dispenser is a simple machine that can be operated by any person who understands how to use mobile phones. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound O10, NTA News.
Help has come the way of Otazi farming community in Katsinala local government area as the National Fadama III additional financing project is embarking on early disbursement of funds for rice cultivation and upgrade of infrastructure. A team comprising World Bank experts and staff of the National Fadama III Coordination Office, Abuja, said this during a field tour of the community. Bem Hanya files in the report.
The Osazi farming community of Katsinala local government area, comprising Tiv, Etulo, and Hausa people, is known for rice production. Over the years, the yields of the farmers have been adversely affected due to a number of factors, such as poor roads and lack of farming inputs. It is against this backdrop that the members of the community heaved a sigh of relief with the visit of the Fadama team. Management Information Systems Specialist at the National Fadama Coordination Office, Samuel Alabi, advised the farmers to ensure that they are up to date in their beneficiary contribution and use only the approved inputs such as seeds, fertilizer, and herbicides in order to get bumper harvest.
The group is requesting for processing and another one, rice, a power tiller. Those business plans, by the grace of God, this planting season, we are going to implement them.
Chairman of the Otsazi cluster, Igboze Azifi, appealed for the early release of funds to the farmers and added that the farmers have acquired over 150 hectares of land for cultivation this cropping season.
It is our humble request that your office should humanly consider a problem of road in a public infrastructure as it is required of us at this cluster 2.
Earlier, the team had paid courtesy visits on the representative of the sole administrator of the local government and representative of the Tie Katsinala. From Katsinala, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Makudi. It's back to Phil in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan, in Makudi. The International Monetary Fund's Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa is to be presented today in Abuja. The document, which looks at regional and developments in countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, is to be presented by the IMF's Director for Africa. Cliff Ayuzie joined us earlier to fill us in on developments.
The Nigerian economy is being turned around. There's a successful reset underway, and I think that this was defined by the launch of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan by President Buhari last month. Yesterday, I do not know if you were there, but the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, presided over the third quarterly business forum. There's massive global interest in the performance of the Nigerian economy. It is news, and it's good and positive news that we're pulling out of the recession. I would not worry hugely about even a 1% or 2% global GDP growth rate. This is a major economy. The right policies and institutions are being put in place, and I would probably say to the international community, stay tuned and keep focused.
It's one thing to be rated by the IMF, but we have to believe our own story. We have to believe that we've come through the worst. We have to believe that the policies are kicking in. We have to believe that Nigeria is going forward. When we believe it, the private sector, the public sector, everybody pulling together, then we will deliver to the world. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's good that the world is hearing the story and it's getting more optimistic. But we know as Nigerians that the potential has been huge for decades, and it's really time to deliver. So I expect us to, like Ambassador Sakwe was saying, I expect us to be even more aggressive than predicted.
Residents of Port Harcourt commend federal government on the release of 82 Chibok girls. This and more reports as we join Diba Barry in that zone. Hello, Diba. It's over to you.
Good evening, Phil, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder NNS Port Harcourt has apprehended 23 suspects and arrested a vessel used in lifting illegal refined petroleum products out of the state. This comes as the command equally rounded off another 5 syndicates attempting to reactivate one of the destroyed illegal refinery sites off Ogbolo Waterway. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The first group of 23 suspects were arrested while attempting to siphon petroleum products believed to be automated gasoline oil AGO from 5 boats into a waiting vessel NTA-1 within the Ego Island waterways. Commander NNS Pathfinder Commodore Samson Bora said his men acted based on intelligence reports, noting that the Nigerian Navy would engage the officials of the Department of Petroleum Resources to ascertain the volume and cost implication of the recovered products.
And on arrival, they found empty A1 with 5 wooden boats laden with products suspected to be illegally refined AGO from the initial investigation. 23 suspects were arrested, all males Nigerians. Investigations are ongoing right now.
The second group of suspects were apprehended while allegedly attempting to reconstruct one of the illegal refinery sites which the naval authorities said they had destroyed in previous exercise. He, however, advised the public to rather wait and key into the federal government modular refinery program to legitimize their business in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Reactions are trailing the release of 82 of the Chibok schoolgirls as most Port Harcourt residents expressed relief at the development, praying the federal government to rehabilitate the girls to enable them to be reintegrated into the society. Karina Igoniko reports.
Most Port Harcourt residents said news of the release of additional 82 of the Chibok schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents since 2014 comes as a huge relief and appreciated the federal government and security operatives for the feat.
It's a kind of relief. As a mother, you know, your children have been away for like 3 years or so. Seeing them once again is a thing of joy.
I feel relieved because it was deep inside me, because that's the captivity of young girls like that, you know, being released. It gave me a relief, but I hope to see the others released.
The respondents also underscored the place of proper debriefing and rehabilitation of the rescued girls to help them to overcome the trauma they have experienced, adding that the families of the girls should also be assisted.
Yeah, first of all, the government needs to psych them up, you know, because psychologically they have been dehumanized.
They should take care of the family. They should make them, you know, begin to think less.
I expect the government to put a sort of a skill acquisition for those that were released.
The release of the 82 Chibok girls brings to 106 the number of girls so far rescued. In Port Harcourt, Karina Igonikon, NTA News.
Governor Ayodele Peter Fayoshe of Ekiti State has described Governor Nyesom Wike as a man with an innate zeal for development. Governor Fayoshe was speaking to journalists shortly after he was conducted round some ongoing projects in the state by Governor Wike. Ogeni Yekwere completes the story.
Addressing newsmen after joining Governor Wike on inspection of projects, Governor Ayodele Peter Fayoshe of Ekiti State said the projects being executed in Rivers State by Governor Wike are targeted at improving the living condition of the ordinary Riversman. The projects, which he described as heartwarming, are changing the aesthetics of the state and redefining the old face of River State.
To see everywhere in River State a construction site, and there are projects, legacy projects that you can't forget so soon. And the difference is very clear. The average man can feel it. We just want to appreciate God for this kind of development.
Governor Fayoshe commended Governor Wike particularly for the Port Harcourt Pleasure Park project and the Christian Ecumenical Center, describing them as world-class.
And what I saw here again at this medical center is, it can only be rewarded by God, because this is a finishing second to none. It is a thing we will continue to pray for.
Fayose also felicitated with the people of Rivers State on the Golden Jubilee celebration. In Port Harcourt, NTA News.
Following the ban on some Nigerian staple foods to European Union countries and increasing cases of food contamination in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health, in conjunction with the EU and United Nations Organization, UNIDO, has...
We apologize, that's all we can take from that zone. There seemed to be a challenge with the audio. The head of the Federal Civil Service, Mrs. Winifred Oyoeta, has appealed to operators of public utilities and service providers in the country to always take precautionary measures in the discharge of their duties. Mrs. Oyoeta, who made the plea when she visited victims of recent electrocution in Calabar, noted that such tragic incident would have been averted. Umo Basi Edit has the details.
The University of Calabar Teaching Hospital, where victims of the April 20th electrocution are currently receiving treatment, Mrs. Oyoeta said erring service providers who are negligent in their duties should be sanctioned. She commended the swift reaction of the state government in providing specialist care and the management for its expertise, which has led to the improved conditions of the survivors.
We have had cases like this in the past, and it shouldn't just continue, whereby the PHCN lines, transformers, and so on get blown up, explode, and cause fatalities. I think this is a call for all the electricity providers and other infrastructure providers to be extremely careful.
Chief Medical Director of the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital, Professor Thomas Agan, who conducted the head of service round the hospital, sued for increased budgetary allocation to enable the University of Calabar continue its service, which extends to the neighboring states as well as countries around the Cross River State border.
If there is any hospital that needs development, there is University of Calabar Teaching Hospital.
The visit afforded the head of service of the Federation the opportunity to assess the facilities available in the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. In Calabar, Umo Basidet, NTA News.
The management of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has been challenged to embrace modern technology to drive its processes and rebrand to attain the status of a world-class television station. Anthony Forson reports that the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, gave the charge while inaugurating the management board of the organization. The report.
Members of the NTA new management board are Chief Duro Onabule, Chairman; Mohamed Labbo, Executive Director News; Wole Koka, Executive Director Programs; Abdul Hamid Dembos, Executive Director Marketing; Fatima Barda, Executive Director Finance; Steve Egbo, Executive Director Administration and Training; and Stephen Okwanachi, Executive Director Engineering. To this new management team, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed wasted no time in driving home the dire need for a departure from the old order and embrace professionalism in practice so that the NTA will regain its lost confidence.
Television is a powerful tool and a very sensitive platform. If put to good and effective use, television can help shape society, inspiring citizenry to strive for lofty standards and new horizons. Governments around the world recognize this fact and strive always to ensure that it is run with dignity and responsibility. No other television station in Nigeria is charged with the same social responsibility of public interest broadcasting. Accordingly, the NTA must continue to serve as a tool for national integration.
The minister challenged the NTA management in looking forward into the future, leverage on the ongoing digital switchover and reposition as Africa's most influential network by creating a robust content given its capacity, which it has been known for.
There is a clear challenge in front of us to take NTA to new heights, to re-establish our social contract with our own viewers and audience, to lead the way in keeping the nation informed and educated, and all the while stepping boldly into the new future of digital broadcasting that is already threatening to leave us behind. We must take on these challenges without fear, favor, or distraction.
Besides drama and soaps, NTA, the minister said, need to invest in a wide variety of programming types and give depth and breadth to broadcasting. By this, the organization will become reputed for neutrality, factual and professional. The NTA board chairman, Chief Duro Onabule, assured that the NTA management will, in line with the present administration's policy of its agencies being neutral, NTA will uphold professionalism and be fair to all parties. Present at the inauguration were two presidential spokesmen, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Ayotunde Adeshuga, Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, and former board chairman of the NTA, Ibrahim Buba. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Federal Road Safety Corps on measures to reduce road crashes. This and more stories as we join Asmau in our Sokoto Network Center.
Hello, Phil. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Zamfara State Police Command has paraded 15 suspected criminals recently arrested in different parts of the state. One of the suspects is a 29-year-old student of Abuja Polytechnic Talata Mafara, who allegedly stabbed his colleague to death. Jamilu Ibrahim Gusau has more.
Zamfara State Commissioner of Police CP Shaba Al-Kali, who paraded the suspect at the command's headquarters Gusau, said 9 of them were arrested at Gemawa village in Talata Mafara local government area of the state for allegedly engaging in illegal mining activities, contrary to Section 131 of the Mining Act 2007. Other 4 suspects were said to be members of a notorious syndicate of burglars and snatchers who have been terrorizing residents of Gusau and its environs in recent times. Also paraded was a 29-year-old student of Abuja Polytechnic Talata Mafara, Mahmoud Tukur, who allegedly stabbed his colleague Imran Nasuru to death. The command further confirmed the killing of a suspected armed bandit Sani Abdullahi by its men during a shootout in the outskirts of Gusau, the state capital. Exhibits recovered from the suspects include more than 200,000 naira cash, 1 AK-47 rifle, 84 handsets of different types, SIM and memory cards, diggers, shovels, and mining detector, among other things. Most of the suspects confessed to the crimes. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Federal Road Safety Corps says reducing road accidents on the nation's highways will remain the top priority of the Corps. Sheikh Muhammad Deti reports that Acting Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps Sokoto, Yusuf Aliyu Haruna, gave the assurance while speaking at the 2017 United Nations Global Road Safety Week celebration. The report.
Statistics released by Federal Road Safety Corps shows that Sokoto State recorded a total of 111 accidents in 2016, compared with 146 recorded in 2015. The casualty rate, as at 2015, was 479, while in 2016 it stands at 428. Acting Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps Sokoto, Yusuf Aliyu Haruna, said the 2017 United Nations Global Road Safety Week is celebrated to create awareness on the dangers of road accidents. While calling on the motorists to desist from overspeeding and overloading, he urged them to use the speed limit device in order to reduce the rate of accidents. Road users, as well as road management agencies, describe the introduction of speed limit device as another measure that will curtail the rate of accidents in the state. Representative of the Zonal Commanding Officer in charge of Zone 10 Sokoto, Makcham Sambo, said the aim of the day is to ensure zero tolerance to road crashes. This year's week, he said, is being celebrated with the West African Road Safety Organization with the acronym WASO. The theme for this year's celebration its managing speed. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Deti, NTA News.
Sokoto State joined other parts of the world in observing the International Day of Red Cross with visit to less privileged members of the society. Sadia Omar Digi completes the story.
The Nigerian Red Cross Society was established in Nigeria in 1960, and its activities revolve around health-related issues, assisting victims of accidents and disaster, as well as crisis management and mitigation, among others. The 2017 International Day for Red Cross is organized and celebrated throughout the world to celebrate and commemorate the birthday of the founding father of Red Cross Society, Mr. Henry Dumont. Here in Sokoto, as part of the celebration, members extended hands of friendship to prison inmates, orphanage home, as well as a sensitization campaign against cerebrospinal meningitis at the Central Motor Park. Speaking shortly after the rally, the chairperson of the organization, Hajia Umu Mustafa, described the day as an opportunity to identify and assist the vulnerable group in the society. She said the Red Cross Society is poised to better the lives of victims of disasters in the state.
So we want people to support the Nigerian Red Cross Society by widening our programs and activities in the areas of helping people.
The chairperson appealed for support of governments and well-to-do individuals in the state to discharge its humanitarian activities effectively. In Sokoto, Sadia Omar Digi, NTA News.
And that does it from Sokoto. Is back to Phil in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much from that end. Interpol Abuja Bureau has warned people not to be carried away by promises of juicy overseas jobs and opportunities, as traffickers also use these as baits. Commissioner of Police Interpol Abuja Bureau, Olushola Zuberu, gave the warning while repatriating 7 Bangladesh nationals trafficked to Nigeria instead of Europe, where they were promised. Edino Justice has the details.
Herok Hassan is one of the 7 lucky Bangladesh nationals rescued by the Interpol Abuja National Bureau on the 9th of March this year. He is happy and grateful to Nigerians that they are going home.
Today I go Bangladesh. When I see my family and when I see my friend, Nigeria is a very good country. I am Mr. there very well. Everybody is helpful.
Interpol is all about cooperation.
Narrating how they were rescued, Commissioner of Police Interpol, Olushola Zuberu, said they got information via Interpol, swung into action and recovered the victims from an hotel where they were kept by yet-to-be-identified trafficker. He warned on people making a desperate journey without official documentation, saying these ones were lucky.
The visa they got for them, the visa for Nigeria, was from the Republic of Benin, whereas they were promised to go for work in Europe. So this is happening everywhere, all over the world, even to Nigerians also. There are people that will come to entice them, that they have jobs to offer them outside the country, for them to go and seek greener pasture, and they end up being trafficked.
Some of the Bangladesh officials who won't speak on camera commended the quick response of Interpol officials and the humane treatment throughout their stay in the country. The warning here is grasses out there might not be that green. Edina Justice, NTA News.
The France election may have come and gone, but it still remains a topic of discourse in public domain as Macron becomes the youngest French president at 39 years. Former Nigerian ambassador to France and Monaco, Akin Fayemi, was speaking on Good Morning Nigeria program, says development as a shift from the tradition in France where the leftists and rightists hold sway for decades. Ambassador Fayemi said Macron's promise to push for reforms in various sectors, improving the borders to check terrorism, labor issues and trade to boost France's economy, swayed the voters in his favor.
That, whereas he is on the other side. He is now trying to play to the gallery, trying to assure particular immigrants that France is not as terrible as it would have been if Ms. Le Pen was there. Don't forget, she got about 11 million votes, so that's quite substantive. That means some people agreed with her anyway.
On the parliamentary election coming up next month, Ambassador Fayemi believes that the newly elected president will likely go for coalition if his party fails to win seats. And now for some more global news. South Africa to produce affordable indigenous smartphones. And more on the tidbits with Chimdema Ndobesi.
Local content is South Africa's agenda as it plans to mass-produce the first ever African smartphone to advance technology in the continent. The production will commence next month. From Kenya comes a report that the United States government has withheld $21 million out of its $650 million health aid package to Kenya, citing corruption as reason for the decision. Kenya's health minister said the ministry is committed to prudent financial management and accountability. And the International Criminal Court, ICC, is probing allegations of human trafficking, killings, rapes, and torture of migrants crossing Libya into Europe. It's, however, investigating if such cases fall under its jurisdiction. In another development, South Korea's liberal candidate, Moon Jae-in, has won the presidential election with over 41% of the votes, while the conservative candidate followed with 23.3% of the votes. Mr. Moon aligns with more dialogue with North Korea. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
In Bauchi State, Governor Mohammed Abubakar restates his administration's commitment to sports development as hostilities begin in the 9th edition of Abuja Unity Polo Tournament. Kene Imabudike is our guide on sports update.
Nigeria Super Eagles will open camp in Corsica on the 24th of May in preparation for an international friendly against the Corsica senior national team come May 26, before moving to Paris for the second phase of their camping program in France. Technical advisor Kenneth Rowe has invited a 25-man squad for the France camp ahead of their 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against South Africa in June. Bauchi State Governor Mohammed Abubakar has restated his administration's commitment towards boosting the state sporting sector for the good of the youth. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that Governor Abubakar, who spoke at the 53rd National Full Council meeting of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria sworn in Bauchi, urged members to make effective inputs in the transformation process of the nation's sports industry.
At the inception of this administration, tremendous efforts were made to improve sporting programs on sustainable basis, as well as rehabilitation of sporting facilities, as can be seen in the renovation of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium and the multipurpose sports hall.
Hostilities begin in the 9th edition of Abuja Unity Polo Tournament Tuesday at the Gas Polo Club, Mambila Barracks, Asokoro, Abuja, with 14 teams in participation over 20 games. Organizers say the tournament, which ends on Sunday, will see the teams compete for the Gas Challenge Cup, Gas Brigade Trophy, Legislative Shield, President's Cup, as well as 3 newly introduced trophies, including the Beginner's Cup.
This tournament promises to be quite exciting. We have players coming from all over the world. It's not just local players. We have foreign players participating as well.
Out of the 14 participating teams, 8 are based outside Abuja, while Rubicon Polo Club of Abuja are the defending champions. With Sports Update, Kene Ima Abodike, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide on NTA. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.